Multiview 1.2.3. What we're going to do is we're going to create the figure, the archway, from number 5 in the worksheet. We're going to make a 3D model of this, and then after we make the 3D model, I'll show you how to put it into Fusion 360 and make the hidden lines and use the projected views. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to simply figure out what side we want to sketch. You have to pick the best available side, either the front, the top, or the right side. Now looking at this, the easiest thing to do here would obviously be to pick the front, which is the arch, because you really can't build from the bottom up the other ways. So I'm going to hit Create Sketch. Actually before this, I'm just going to hit File. I'm going to do my Save, and I'm going to save this file as 1.2.3. We're going to call this A, and we'll do our last name. All right. Okay, so I did that. I'm going to make sure my documents is in millimeters because these are all small numbers, so it's obviously millimeters. This says inches, so I go to here. I'm going to change my active units. I always drag it over here just because it's easier to see. And I'm going to change that to millimeters. Now, back to sketch. I'm going to sketch the front view because that's the picture I want to do of my plane. Now this pretty much is a rectangle with a circle, semicircle taken out. So if I look at my rectangle, if this piece right here is 37, that means the top's 37, and the height of the rectangle is 18. So if I go to 2-point rectangle, click it at my origin, and I'm just going to make it 18 millimeters high, and I am going to make it 37 millimeters wide. Okay, and I got the numbers from 18 high, 37 wide. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Make these a little bit closer so you can see it. Now the next thing you're going to do is zoom in a little bit. I want to have a cutout. I want to cut this piece out. So I noticed that the circle is 5 millimeters in on each side. So if I take a line and I go from the edge towards the inside, I want to make it 5 at a 0-degree angle and hit enter. It'll put a point right there, which is what I want. And then I'm going to do it from the other side as well. Come in. And how much do I want to come in? I want to come in 5 millimeters. And now I have my 5 on each side. I'm just going to put my 5s down here so they're out of the way. Now here's the key. I am going to create a circle. Now there's 2 circles you can make. You can use the circle we've been using, center diameter. And as you pull across here, eventually what you're going to do is you see a triangle. The triangle means that's the center point of this. And if I drag out to these pieces, it actually works out pretty well. Now say another way to do this is to go to Create Circle. And I think this was a little bit easier, a 2-point circle. And that means you're going to pick both sides. So I pick the beginning and I pick the end. It's the same exact circle. It doesn't matter. The key now is I have my arch and then I have the piece that's cut out. Now if I keep this like this, it's going to be a little messy. So I want to just get rid of the excess circle. So I'm going to go up here and there's a modify button called trim that trims the sketch to the nearest intersecting line. So if I pick that and I cut this bottom piece, it'll just cut the bottom of the circle out. All right, now I also want to cut out the piece between the two. And now I have my archway. All right, I can hit finish sketch and it looks very nice. If I want to hit home, you can see it's a nice 3D picture right here. I can pinch and zoom out a little bit as well. Now the final thing is we want to get the depth, and we can see that that is 18. So I'm going to hit the extrude button, click on my archway and hit the 18 and hit enter. And now I got my figure. All right, so you're able to make this figure fairly simply. Now, we didn't really care about making the figure. What I wanted to do is get into the multi-view drawing of the figure. So I'm just going to close this out and expand this just to give you some a better view. All right, so now I got the whole screen. I got to make sure first thing I do is I save this. So File, Save. Now I have the figure saved. What I want to save it as, just a user. You'll notice the version will change right here. It goes up a version every time you save it. So the first time you save it, version 1, then version 2, and up. And you can always go back to previous versions if you mess something up after you saved it, which is a pretty neat thing. Now, in order to get to my design or my multi-view drawing, I click the design. So this changes the workspace. So instead of being a design workspace, where you can create your 3D figure, I go to drawing. And I'm going to go to drawing from design. And what that's going to do is it's going to take my 3D drawing and turn it into a multi-view drawing. Now in this case, here's my create drawing screen. I got create from scratch. My units are indeed millimeters. And I'm going to go use sheet size A3. Okay? You can create your own templates anytime you want. But we don't need to worry about that right now. So as you can see, this little spinner guy spins and spins and spins. What it's doing is it's generating the multi-view thing. So it takes a lot of energy from your computer. If it's going really slow, make sure you close out all the stuff in your background. That way it ensures that you have enough CPU processing power to do this. Now the black screen is not supposed to be black yet. As you can see, it is still loading. And it's loading and it's loading. And then what it does is when it finishes loading, it gives us a workspace here, created by, it gives us a name, and it gives us a title. So I'm happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place down, this is my base view. So I'm just going to put down my base, which is my front view. I'm going to hit enter. And now my base view is down. All right, so this is the beginning of the piece. Now a couple things I want to do. I want to double click on this base view, not 2 fingers, but 2 clicks right away. And I'm going to make sure that I can see the visible and hidden edges. So I click that. That's going to allow us to see our dashed lines. I'm also going to make sure that I'm going to change my scale. I want this to be a little bit larger. So in order to change the scale, whatever number comes first makes it bigger. Like I can make it 5:1 and make it really huge, but that's not going to fit because I got to fit 3 of them on there. Let's try 3:1 looks pretty good. So I'm going to take a 3:1 scale and hit OK. Now this could be placed anywhere I want, but I'm going to want a top view, and I'm also going to run a right side view and an isometric view. So it's important that you kind of put it in like the bottom left-hand corner. So now what you're going to do is you go to create, and you're going to go to projected view. That's going to create your orthogonal and isometric views of the design. So we're going to hit projected view, and then you click on the parent. Now once you click on parent, I can drag this up, and when I drag this up and put it down, I could drag this to the right. I could drag this down here. I could drag this over here. And in each case, it gives us a view. All right, now, I want the top view. So this is the bottom view, so I'm just going to delete that one. I'm going to drag the top view up here. And I'm going to bring this one down here. And here's my views. Now in this case, this is a great way to look at this. So I have my figure right here. All 3 views. Now I'm not going to do dimensioning yet, but what you can do is I could double click on this, and if you want, you can change it from that. You could do a shaded version with hidden edges, or I can do a straight up shaded version. Now for some reason it's tilted the wrong way that I don't like, but you can keep it that way. It's not a huge deal. Alright, so now I got my picture, I got my views, and all I have left to do is I'm going to do File, Save, and when you save this one, notice it's going to save as a drawing. Okay, it's same thing as a drawing, and that's all I want. 1.2.3a drawing, and it's different than the actual one. So now I got my drawing, it's saved. I'm going to screenshot it, Control-Shift-4. All right, Command-Shift-4. Sorry, not Control. Command-Shift-4. And then I don't have to include the bar because my name's already here. All right, and now I'm good to go. All right, well, that was that problem. Now we're going to move on to a second one and see how good you guys are mastering this. Thank you for listening.